The 2025 APEC Korea is just about a month away. Now, as the most important multilateral diplomatic event in the Asia-Pacific region, it is already drawing the world's attention. Now in Gyeongju, Korea's historic city where the summit will be held, another major APEC-related event will be taking place immediately after the 2025 APEC Korea concludes. Now, aren't you a little bit curious about what that might be? Hello everyone, this is Culture Crunch's DJ Joel, and on today's Creme de la Creme, we've invited a very special guest who is preparing an international event for APEC-registered architects. But of course, before we meet today's special guest, we are going to listen to a song. This is 따스한 햇살이 되어 비출게, Sunshine by Seoya.
돌아가는 시계 바늘에 정신없이 이끌려와 기댈 곳 없는 어두컴컴한 내 하루 끝홀로 남겨지면 그대 빈자리를 따스한 햇살이 돼 비출게 서로의 마음을 나누며 밤이 되고 어깨에 기대편이 좀 잠에 들어 아직 서툰 내 모습 너로 인해 나와 전에 계절이 가고 또 슬픔이 올 때 너 젖은 채로 흐느낄 때 나 그대 빈자리를 따스한 햇살이 돼 비출게 서로의 마음을 나누며 밤이 되고 어깨에
If success is your goal, tune into Creme de la Creme as we learn all of the top secrets from the top players in their respective fields. Yes, and today we are welcoming a very special guest, someone who has spent her entire life in architecture. Please welcome the CEO of Dari Architects, Jo In-suk, here into the studio. Hello, it's so nice to have you here today.
안녕하세요.
Yes, please, before we start, please introduce yourself to our Culture Crunch family.
저는 건축사 조인숙입니다. 현재는 건축사 사무소 다리건축을 운영하고 있고요.
네.
올해 맡은 에이펙 등록건축사 중앙이사회
네.
의장을 맡고 있습니다.
Okay, very nice to have you here in the on our show today. Now, of course, In-suk Deseo, she is, of course, an architect, and she is also heading the APEC Registered Architects Central Board of Directors here for the Korean APEC here in 2025. So it is certainly an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us. So I just want to jump right in and maybe start right away learning a lot about you. Earlier, I did mention that you've devoted your entire life to architecture. So I want to know a little bit about your history and maybe where you sort of started, how you started in this field. Please let us know.
Actually, it's a kind of 사실 따지고 보면 굉장히 그 우연이라고나 할까요?
네.
예. 여학교 시절에 대학 진학을 위해서 그 적성 검사라는 걸 합니다. aptitude 테스트.
네.
거기서 공간 지각력이 월등하게 높게 나왔어요. 그럼 1순위가 건축가예요. 그게 계기입니다.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, let me just start by saying that that's really interesting. In-suk did, of course, say that, when she was much younger, they had the attitude test, the aptitude test to kind of see where your career would lead, like what kind of work you would be good for. And that the way that she ended up taking it, it pointed all in the right direction towards becoming an architect. So that is certainly an interesting way to become inspired to become an architect. Definitely very interesting. So you kind of got that inspiration back then, but you officially started studying architecture in what year? Like when did you start studying architecture?
1973년에 한양공대 건축과에 입학을 했습니다.
Wow, okay.
당시는 그렇게 수월한 일은 아니었어요.
Okay.
그리고 1977년부터 건축사 사무소에서 일을 배우고 1984년에 건축사 국가시험에 합격을 했고요.
네.
그로부터 몇 년 후에 개인 사무소를 시작하게 되었습니다.
Wow. Okay. So it's been just one step after the other.
Yeah.
It's been really successful. Okay. So In-suk did say that she was admitted into an architecture program in 1973 and began to work in an architect office in 1977 and passed the National Architecture Exam, of course, very, very important, in 1984 and formally founded Dari Architects in 1986 and has been working as an architect ever since. Okay, so that actually, now that I think about it, since you've actually started studying architecture all the way up until now, it's been about 50 years and you are still active today as an architect, correct? Wow.
그렇습니다. 지금까지 일을 하고 있는 것을 감사하게 생각하고 있습니다.
Oh, yes, of course. So, okay, In-suk did say that, yes, she is still working fervently, of course, as an architect, leading up to these big events such as APEC, and that she is very, very grateful for all the opportunities and to be able to still work in this field, of course. Now, I want to get back a little bit into studying, maybe, not studying, but learning about the process of becoming an architect, particularly as a woman, because I'd imagine that it wasn't that easy, particularly at that time. It's already difficult to become an architect, more so as a woman at that particular time. So why did you become interested in architecture because of the aptitude test that you took, or were you already interested in it before?
아마도 일찍부터 그 관심은 있었던 것 같은데 이제 그것이 이제 정확히 무엇인지는 잘 몰랐겠죠. 네.
Right.
근데 막상 일을 해보니까 잘 맞고 또 재미있어서 지금까지 할 수 있었죠.
Right. Okay, so Insuk did, of course, say that she assumes that she must have had some kind of interest in it at, when she was much younger, but that she's not particularly sure when that happened. But since starting the work, she finds it to be interesting. It works for her. It's something that is very close to her heart when she's, of course, practicing it. I want to ask, though, like, when you were much younger, people, I look at a building, I just see a building. But when you were younger, when you saw a building, did you see beauty or something different than just, oh, it's a building? Is that why? Maybe did you have something like that?
제 경우는 아마 그 요즘 얘기하는 소위 한옥이라는 목조 건축,
네네.
전통적인 목조 건축을 어릴 때부터 접했기 때문에 그게 상당히 자연스럽게 지금까지 이어질 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
Oh, wow.
예,
Okay.
물론 현대적인 교육은 받았지만
네.
예.
Oh, okay. All right. So Insuk did say, that at that time, it's thanks to traditional Korean homes known as the hanok, of course, that she's been able to, continue on being an architect and having that interest, particularly in that style of housing. Even though she was, you studied in, modern architecture. It's because of hanok, the traditional Korean housing, that it has carried you through so far here. Now, you also, very interestingly, you did mention you started in the 1970s learning architecture, studying architecture, and you're carrying on till now. Now, what's interesting is that from 1989, you actually spent a lot of time in New York, where your interest leaned towards a lot of global cities and architecture, correct? Even though hanok is important, global architecture as well. You're very well, you know a lot about that as well, right?
네. 당시 뉴욕을 간 것은 애초에는 공부를 하러 갔죠.
네네네.
그러나 도착해서 보니까 제게 주어진 1년이라는 시간은 공부를 마치기에는 짧은 시간이더라고요.
네네.
그래서 바로 결정을 하고 그 뉴욕의 현대 건축을 몸으로, 그러니까 발로 뛰면서 볼링 그린에서 할렘까지 차곡차곡 걸으면서 공부를 했습니다.
Wow. Well, you picked a very, very great city to go to in terms of architecture. So Insuk says that, of course, she went originally to New York with the intention of studying, of course, and that she went to New York and she went from the top to the bottom, from Harlem to like all the rest of New York City, and studied hard during a one-year course to kind of go and study all of the architecture that's in New York. And I, of course, said that is a really great place to study architecture. It's probably one of the most famous in terms of American architecture in particular. So, New York City is, of course, a wonderful city, but then in 2001, you went from America to Germany, where the architecture is completely different. Now, I heard you originally planned to study abroad right after college, but it was a little bit delayed, though, at that point, going to Germany. Why did you have to put it on delay?
당시는 이공계 학생은 3학년을 마치면 유학을 갈 수가 있었어요. 그래서 3학년 때 이제 문교부, 그 당시는 문교부 유학 시험도 보고 준비는 했는데 이제 가정에 조금 어려운 일이 생겨서
네네.
바로 취업을 하게 되었죠. 졸업반일 때.
네네.
그래서 그 이후로는 계속 일만 했어요. 예. 그런데 독일을 가게 된 경위는 아주 늦게 석박사 과정을 공부하게 됐는데
네.
석사 마치고 박사를 시작할 때에 마침 교환 학생 시험이 있어서 그 박사과정 교환으로 독일을 가게 된 거죠.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that is certainly very interesting, and that at that particular time in university or in college, after the third year, you have to kind of work with the academics team to see who gets the opportunity to study abroad. So that, of course, there was some things happened in her life where she was unable to do it at that time, and that later on, she ended up getting the opportunity to go overseas to study, and at that point, it was Germany that was chosen for that. And once again, that is a perfect place to go. Germany has beautiful architecture. I used to live in Germany, so it's beautiful architecture, of course. finally, going to Germany, it was a long time coming, working and building her career before she finally had the chance to do so. But I will say, though, and this is where it gets very interesting, and that is because in Germany, you certainly left your mark there, and that a very special Korean structure was built in Germany at that time, and that is the 통일정, which is referred to as the Pavilion of Unity, or the Pavilion der Einheit. I looked this up, actually, at Potsdamer Platz in Berlin. Now, please tell us a little bit about this project, because this is very exciting.
굉장히 관심이 크신 질문이신데요.
네네.
제가 독일에서 체류할 때 박사 콜로키움에서 한국의 목조 건축이라는 주제로 강연을 한 적이 있습니다.
예.
그것이 계기가 되어서 다른 문화재청에서도
네.
초청을 받아서 강연을 했고요. 그로부터 한 10년 후에 다른 도시에서 한국의 정자 건축에 대해서 강연을 하게 되었어요.
네네.
그래서 그때 제가 생각하기를 작은 정자 하나가
네네.
상당히 큰 영향을 줄 수 있겠다 그런 생각이 들었습니다.
Right.
계속해도
Oh,
될까요?
yeah.
예.
So, okay. So, the professor said that, or when she was working as a professor, she actually had an opportunity to produce a lecture based on Korean architecture, and that after 10 years, of course, that she had the opportunity to build a structure in Germany, plan building a structure in Germany, and thought that one small piece of architecture such as this could mean a lot depending on the placing and how it was, kind of formulated the spot, the construction, especially what it means in terms of the world and the state of politics at that time, and how it was in Korea, of course, in Germany as well. So it's certainly very, I would say, meaningful, considering where Potsdamer Platz is, of course, was originally the no man's land between West and East Germany, and similar to the situation in Korea as well. So it does mean a lot in terms of unity and hoping for the future. Now, I did hear that the pavilion, though, was a reproduction of Sangnyeongjong at Changdeokgung Palace. Now, is that true? And why did you choose something from Changdeokgung?
굉장히 중요한 질문이신데요.
네.
앞에서도 말씀드렸지만
네.
특히 한국의 정자는 작을수록 가치가 있는 게
네네.
그 안에서 큰 자연을 내다보게끔
네.
지어진 것이거든요.
네네.
통일정을 짓고자 했을 때 독일 베를린에 이제 관계자들이 한국을 방문하셨어요.
네네.
그래서 제가 창덕궁을 안내를 하면서 처음에는 다른 정자를 기획을 했었죠. 그분들이. 근데 제가 창덕궁을 안내를 하면서 포츠다머 플라츠에 적합한 정자를 몇 개 골라서 보여드리면서 특별히 이렇게 루각이면서 육모정을 택하게 한 것은 육각이라는 것은 우주를 표현하거든요. 한국에서는 육모가 많습니다.
네.
일본이나 중국은 팔각이 많고요. 그래서 육모는 전후 좌우 앞뒤해가, 그러니까 전후 좌우 상하해서 6개의 방향은 우주를 표현하기 때문에 이게 합할 수 있는데 굉장히 중요한 요소라고 생각해서 이걸 권했습니다.
Right.
예, 물론 새로이 설계를 할 수도 있지만 한국을 홍보한다고 생각하면
네네네.
전통의 일부를 보여주는 게 좀 효율적이라는 판단을 한 것입니다.
Right. Okay. So no, certainly 6 points. The six-pointed buildings is something unique to Korea, definitely. So In-suk did say that when building this, of course, there was many different plans for doing different things, but that the smaller something is, the bigger importance, the bigger meaning that it has, of course, as a piece of architecture, and that when German people came to kind of look at this, this production that was being made at Potsdamer Platz, that she really wanted to portray portray something uniquely very Korean. And that is something that the buildings are six-pointed buildings, while much around Asia, the other countries in Asia, East Asia in particular, have a little bit of a different outline. They have more points on the building. So the 6 points is uniquely Korean, and she wanted to certainly promote Korea to a very important space here in Germany. Definitely. Now, what's interesting is that, you know, a lot of the architecture that you participate in, you're of course very interested in it, but you've especially focused on repairing and preserving traditional national heritage, very important for Korea and going forward, particularly though Buddhist architecture. I'm curious about why Buddhist architecture caught your eye compared to other traditional architecture.
그것도 정말로 참 중요한 질문이신데요.
네.
그 제가 대한민국 조계종에 그 국제 포교사라는 교육을 받았어요.
네네네.
당시 뭘로 그러면은 한국의 불교를 외국에 알리겠느냐
네네.
시험 볼 때
네네.
그런 질문을 받았습니다.
네네.
사실은 대답을 못했어요.
아.
생각이 안 나서.
네네.
그랬을 때 그 질문을 하셨던 스님이 건축이 전공이면 불교 건축으로 하면 좋지 않을까.
네네.
거기에서 제가 깨달았습니다.
아.
제가 할 수 있는 역량으로
네.
역할을 하면 되겠다.
아.
그래서 불교 건축을 특별히 그때부터 열심히 한 것입니다.
Oh, wow. Okay, so actually from an actual monk who
Yeah,
suggested it to you. Okay, so Insuk did say that, you know, of course, when studying architecture and learning about all of this, you know, trying to find something that's really representative that she could work with in terms of, you know, architecture, she found that she didn't really know what to go, like which direction to go in, that she actually got suggested from an actual Buddhist monk that why don't you, as an architect, work with, you know, kind of work with Buddhist architecture. So she actually got inspired from here, and that's how she began and became so passionate about Buddhist architecture. Now, you have been working for, as we said, 50 years, right? It's been a long time. You've done some incredible things all around the world, particularly. Must be hard to pick, but do you have one representative work, or I guess you could say a 대표작 that you can choose?
대표작이라고 하긴 좀 부끄럽지만 그 산간이 아닌 도심에 또 거의 버려진 땅에다 지어졌던 은평구에 천간사라는 조그만 절이 있습니다.
예.
조계종은 아니지만
네네.
열심히 수행하는
네네.
그런 절입니다. 그래서 천간사 설계가 좀 설명할 부분이 많은 것 같아서 뭐 꼭 대표작이라기보다도
네네.
그래서 뭐 소개하고 싶습니다.
Of course, Insuk did say that what's interesting about this is that is actually a Buddhist temple work that is not necessarily outside in the mountains where they usually are located, but rather in the city, which makes it really unique. And there are many unique points involved here as well, and that is called the Cheongansa Temple in Brugangdong. A very important work here, and I'm looking at this right here. It is beautiful. And it is very interesting to see it within the city. That, you know, because usually they're located in the mountains or somewhere much more quiet, but to see it in the city is, of course, very important. But to an architect, though, what is the meaning of this to you or to architects, like this particular structure?
뭐 여러 가지 설명할 부분이 있겠지만
네.
그중 이제 그 재개발되는 아파트 단지에
예.
좀 버려진 땅에다가 새로 지을 수 있었다는 부분이 굉장히 중요합니다. 물론 처음부터 제가 설계를 한 것은 아닌데
네네.
다른 사람이 설계해 놓은 것을 전면 재설계를 하게 되었습니다. 다만 이제 주안점이 그 토지를 좀 잘 이용을 하고 그 도로의 고저차나 또는 땅이 가진 어려움들을
네.
잘 이해를 해서 공사비를 굉장히 줄이고 그리고 이제 작은 사찰이지만 그 몇 개 안 되는 건물 간의 위계가 좀 재설정이 되고
Right.
그렇게 할 수 있고 동네 사람들한테 마당을 이렇게 크게 제공할 수 있어서
오.
그런 점이 좀 그 설명하기 좋은 점이라고 생각이 듭니다. 그리고 요사체라는 곳에서 보면 매층에서 부처님이 바로 보이게
아.
그렇게 구성을 했습니다.
와우.
꼭 불전에 안 들어가더라도.
네.
예.
Okay, wow. So it seems to be a very important and unique piece, of course, that in the age of reconstruction, rebuilding new buildings here in Korea, particularly apartments these days called gebae, it's something that in the midst of all this, to be able to get this piece of land and to be able to build and work with this incredible architectural feat is very important. Of course, accessibility very important because it's located within the city is very important. But there was a lot of thought and planning put into building everything, including on every single floor. Accessibility to the people inside is very evident right away, and that there's many different points. And we did watch the video. It is a very beautiful piece, and it seems tranquil, even though it's located within the city. So I definitely feel like I would want to go visit there. Absolutely. Now. So there's very we keep going back here and we talk about everything that you have been working with UNESCO, and that you have a lot of different things taking place. Now, UNESCO, of course, is something that is coming up. It's in the news all the time. Now, this year's council will be held starting October 31st in Gyeongju, where APEC takes place. And I'm kind of wondering a little bit about what you're going to be doing while you're there, like what your responsibilities are at APEC. I'm going to hear about the event. What's going on there?
제가 맡은 그 행사는 그 에이펙 정상회담 후에 뭐 한 열흘 이내 이어서 하는데요. 거기 실무 분야 중에
네네.
에이펙 건축사라는 분야가 있습니다.
아, 예.
그래서 에이펙 건축사가 중앙이사회를 2년에 한 번씩 돌아가면서 하는데 올해 우리 정상회담과 맞춰서
네네.
한국의 경주에서 개최하기로 되어 있습니다.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into that. But Insoo says, as the APEC architectural project, of course, we talked about it briefly in the beginning, the intro, that the Registered Architects Central Board of Directors meet on a rotating basis, and that they discuss, kind of the architectural importance going out throughout Asia, of course, and that it is certainly something that you are kind of heading a little bit with your years of experience. So it's something definitely very interesting to talk about. We are going to talk a little bit more about that. But first, we want to ask you to fill out your life graph so we can learn a little bit more about you and how architecture has affected your life. So please, yes, while we listen to a song, we are going to have her draw her life graph. So we're going to take a listen to Smile by John Park, and we'll be right back.
Smile 이젠 웃음 잃지 마요 Smile again 다시 웃어봐요 슬픔에 물든 기억 모두 지워질 거야 Teardrops 그대 눈물 떨어져 Starlight 별빛 될 거예요 걱정 말아요 그대 모두 잊혀질 거야 봄, 여름
Okay, welcome back to Culture Crunch. You guys are listening to us here on Arirang Radio and TV right now. Of course, today is Creme de la Creme, and we are joined by Jo In-suk 대표님, or the CEO of Tari Architects, and we are talking a lot about Korean architecture and your influence that you've had on the field. Now, I did have a question that someone sent us in our comments section here, and this is a very good one. So Leon is asking, for people visiting Korea who love architecture and heritage, what neighborhoods, buildings, or walking routes would you definitely recommend personally? 그래서 뭐 한국에 오시는 뭐 관광객들 뭐 이거 추천해 주실 수 있는 뭐 동네나 그 건물 같은 거 있으실까요?
그 좋은 질문이신데요.
네.
이제 제 경우는 그 다양한 손님들이 외국에서 오시기 때문에
네.
이렇게 처음 오는 분 또는 몇 번 오신 분
네네.
그리고 길게 계실 분들 이렇게 다 다르잖아요.
네네네.
그래서 기회가 정말 한 번밖에 없다.
네.
그러면은 창덕궁을 추천합니다. 창덕궁과 후원을.
네.
그러면 여지껏 제가 몇 수십 년간 창덕궁과 후원을 안내를 해도
네.
한 번도 실패한 적이 없어요.
아.
워낙 자연 환경이 좋고 그 전각의 구성이 좋기 때문에
네네.
제 설명이 훌륭하지 않아도
네네.
모든 사람들이 좋아합니다.
네.
한국을 잘 보여줄 수 있는 그런
네.
공간이에요. 예.
Right. Okay. No, definitely. I agree with you. I've been there many times, and I every time I see something new, I think. So In-suk did say for Leon's question that definitely a lot of people come to Korea, and they always have, maybe some people have been here only once, or they've been here many times. But the one place that never fails, and this is her assuming that you only get one chance to go and see something, and that is Changdeokgung, which is of course a palace here in Korea, in Seoul, and it is probably the best representative to be able to get an all-encompassing look at Korean architecture as well as cultural, and it's actually a lot of fun because I've been there quite a few times myself. So you've definitely very much getting busy, and we briefly before the song break we did mention that we talked a little bit about APEC and the importance that it has and the role that you play here, and that. We're talking about the Central Board of Directors, which you are, of course, working with. And for the general public, though, the APEC registered architect is a little bit unfamiliar. They're not going to be familiar with what that is exactly. Could you explain a little bit about the APEC architectural project?
APEC 그 등록 건축사 프로젝트라는 것은요.
네네.
그 2001년도에 그 APEC 그 회원 그 경제체
네네.
APEC에서는 국가라는 단어를 안 쓰고 경제체라고 씁니다. 이코노미로만.
예.
그래서 깃발도 안 달죠.
네네.
경제체들 중심이 되어서 그 같은 경제체 간에 건축 서비스 제공을 이제 하는 데 있어서 장벽을 완화하는 목적으로.
네네.
예를 들어서 제가 일본에서 일을 하고 싶은데 같이 APEC 경제체 안에 있으면
네.
제 면허를 갖고 그쪽에서 일을 할 수 있고 또 그쪽에서도 면허를 갖고 일을 할 수 있게끔 취지는 그렇습니다.
오, 오케이.
현실적으로는 어려움이 많지만
네.
그래서 뭐 몇 단계의 그 장벽이 있죠 여전히. 그래서 이제 소위 말하는 건축사 이동 촉진을 위한
네네.
그런 기술 및 그 자격의 상호 인증 수단을 이제 마련하기 위해서 그렇게 시작을 한 것입니다. 예. 현재는 21개 APEC 이코노미 중에서 17개의 이코노미가 현재 회원으로 들어와 있고요. 건축 분야는 그래서 올해 한국에서 회의할 때
네네.
나머지 4개 분야도 4개 이코노미도
네.
좀 업적으로 초청을 할 계획입니다.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it certainly sounds very important. In-suk says that the APEC architectural project, of course, began in 2001 amongst the member economies of the APEC groups to reduce barriers for architectural services and kind of promote the mobility of architects between the member countries, sort of like an open lane for the architects of the member countries to go to each other's countries and get licenses a little bit more easier so that construction becomes a little bit more streamlined. And then she says that out of all of the countries, the 21 countries of APEC, 17 of them are currently members of the APEC economies. So certainly does seem important. And with more economies are constantly joining APEC as APEC gets bigger and more influential over the years. So as it grows, and as the APEC architectural project gets bigger, that means that Korean architects can go to other countries and do architecture a lot more easily. Then, correct?
예, 그러기를 원하지만 이제 에이펙 건축사라는 면허가 따로 있기 때문에
네네.
관문을 하나 더 넘으셔야 됩니다.
Okay, so she says that of course there are a variety of licenses and stuff, but that in contest, in theory, that it would be the ideal situation. But yeah, we're hoping for something like that, of course. Now Gyeongju, of course, very very famous in Korea. Why did you choose, or was it not you, but why was it chosen to be held as chairman? Why was it chosen to be held here in Gyeongju?
저희가 처음에 그 중앙이사국으로 그러니까 센트럴 카운슬 그 세크레타리앗으로
네.
지정이 됐을 때
네네.
그 도시를 함부로 정하지를 못했어요. 취지가
네.
에이펙 정상회담과 같은 장소에서 하기 위해서 기다렸습니다. 그래서 에이펙 정상회담 장소가 5개 도시 중에 최종 경주로 선정이 된 다음에 저희도 이제 경주로 정한 거죠. 그러나 같은 기간에 하려고 노력을 했는데 그거는 쉽지가 않았습니다. 네.
Right.
그래서 조금 끝나고 연이어서 하는 형태가 된 거죠.
Oh wow. Okay.
그리고 이제 경주를 택한 이유는 아마 에이펙 정상회담 장소도 그렇게 정해졌을 거라고 이해하는데 그 대표적인 역사 도시이자 문화 도시고 또 세계유산 도시이죠.
네.
경주는 세계유산에 사찰도 있고 역사 도시도 있고
네.
전통 마을도 들어가 있습니다.
네.
그러니까 유교, 불교, 그다음에 전통적인 생활까지 다 포함되어 있어요. 그래서
오케이.
굉장히 바람직한 도시라고 여겨집니다.
Oh, it certainly is. Gyeongju is of course very important not only to Korea but for the world historically. Okay, so Insuk did say that why particularly was Gyeongju chosen for this, and that it was that the central council actually was working hard to find a place, but they couldn't decide on one for a long time, and that they waited for it to coincide with the APEC actual global forum that's happening next month here in Gyeongju, of course, so that the timing actually worked out, and that's how you ended up choosing this place in particular for the meeting. The timing really did work out very well, and Gyeongju is also considered. It's also considered a very important city, not just nationally, but worldwide as well in terms of historical value, cultural value, and it just kind of has everything that you might need. So there really isn't a better place, symbolically than for a place like this. So, I would imagine that you're going to hold lots of important discussions, but maybe what are some of the really important issues that you're going to be talking about in addition, to when you're at this discussion that you're going to be having?
이번에 저희가 그 정상회담과
네.
그 주제와 소주제를 똑같이 맞췄습니다.
Okay.
다만 그것이 이제 건축사들의 관심사 쪽으로 좀 범위를 좁힌 것이죠. 경제책 안에 그 같은 얘기를 좀 하고자. 물론 저희 중앙이사회는 이례적 연례 회의니까, 그러니까 2년에 한 번씩 열린 정기 회의죠.
네네네.
회의 안건 처리하고 또 이슈가 있으면 다루는데 한국에서 회의하면서 특별히 다루고자 했던 내용 중에 하나는 그 에이펙 전체 글로서리에 에이펙 건축사라는 정의가 안 들어가 있습니다, 아직. 그래서 이번에 저희들이 그걸 하나 넣는 걸 큰 목표로 하나 하고 있고요.
Okay.
그다음에 이제 아까 말씀드렸던 그 장애 없이 이동하는
Yeah.
걸 조금 그레이드를 높이고자 하는 게
Right.
목표 중에 하나입니다.
Right, of course, the ease for architects. Okay, so Insvik did say that they were tied directly or very closely matched the subject matter between the APEC Global Forum, of course, that's going to be happening, and that is, of course, economics. It is an economics forum that is being held. So they tied a lot of the themes with this particular meeting that she is doing, as well as the actual global forum that's happening. And that one of the big goals for herself is that right now in the APEC glossary, architecture doesn't actually have its own entry or its own dedicated section, so that the goal is to get that included in here as well, and that not only getting them in the glossary, but also, of course, as we mentioned earlier, the ease of travel between architects, between members of the APEC nations. So those are the two goals that they're working with. Okay, so you have been working very hard to not only promote Korean architecture throughout the world and seeing the preservation of it, but I want to see like how your life has been affected by architecture by looking at your life graph, which you have drawn for us. So I would love if you could kind of explain your life graph, maybe from 0 till like now or 현재. So please explain a little bit about your life graph, like from the start to now.
뭐 이렇게 굴곡을 그려드린 건데요. 저뿐 아니라 많은 분들이 그 삶이라는 것은 오르락 내리락 하는 것이라고 여겨집니다.
네.
물론 그 설계 사무실을 오래 하면서 보니까 아주 어려운 적도 있고 또 조금 이렇게 계속 갈 수 있나 고만해야 되는가 아닌가 싶을 때는 또 일이 하나 주어지면은 또 열심히 하게 되고 그것이 끊임없이 반복돼서 지금까지 일을 할 수 있게 했던 것 같아요. 어려움이 없이 아주 잘 됐으면은 그대로 이어서 하기 어려웠을 것 같습니다.
Of course. No, I understand totally what you're saying. So Insik says that working in architectural projects such as this, you definitely have really, really hard times. And when you have a hard time, for people like her, it's kind of a driving force a little bit, because if everything's easy, you don't have the drive. You don't it's easy, why should I do it? So she says that has been a driving force in her life, and that's why you have so many ups and downs. It looks like mountains to me. But I'm looking here, and there are some pretty low points on your life graph. So your lowest point, what was happening at that lowest point in your life, like on your life graph?
어떤 점에서는 제가 너무 남들이 시작하기 전에 다양한 문화 활동을 같이 시작을 했었어요. 근데 이제 그런 결과 사무실 운영에 영향을 줘서 정말 이제 그만해야 되는 거 아닌가 싶을 정도까지 내려간 적도 있는데 그 제 경험에 의하면 절대로 그 바닥에서 다시 일어날 수 있게 되더라고요. 그래서 아주 바닥까지 가면 또 일어나고 그냥 주저앉지는 않더라고요.
네.
그래서 그 밑바닥 선이 아마 그런 점이 아닌가.
네.
근데 그게 있음으로 해서 조금 더 높이 갔다가
네.
또 다시 그런 지점이 또 됐다가
네.
또 높이 갔다가 이런 그 삶의 반복이었죠.
Yeah.
예.
Well, that's life. Sometimes you fall down, sometimes you got to get
Yeah.
back up. So Insuk did say that working throughout her life, of course, with a variety of cultural activities, whether it be architecture or whatever, culturally, that there has been times, as you can see on her life graph, where she was on the verge of wanting to quit, but that the way that her mind works, it's like a repeating pattern of falling down and getting up, falling down and getting up. But falling down and getting up is part of life, and that's how she's been able to continue driving herself all this time. What's really interesting, though, is that you have a really, really high point relatively recently up here, and then it's going back down. So there's a very high point there after falling down, but it went very high. So what is that extremely high point on that map?
제가 사실은 그 일을 하면서 병행해서 공부를 이제 하게 됐는데요.
네.
그러니까 일을 시작하고 한 20년간은 뭐 일밖에 안 했어요. 그러다가 이제 어느 날 그 학문 쪽으로도 조금 다져야겠다 해서 석사를 시작을 하고 또 박사를 연이하면서
네.
그럼에도 불구하고 박사를 한 18년 남들이 상상하기 어려운 긴 기간을
네.
해서 모든 사람이 아마 이 사람은 못할 거다 하는 시점에 학위를 마쳤거든요.
네네.
근데 마치고 사실은 그 나이가 이미 65세였기 때문에
음.
쓸 일이 별로 없는 시점이었는데 뜻밖의 그 마친 때부터 국제적으로 상당히 중요한 역할을 많이 하게 됐어요.
네네.
그러니까 사실 그 이전과 그 다음에 큰 차이는 없습니다. 그러나 그 갖춘다는 것이 상대한테는 굉장히 편안한 요소가 됐다는 것을 깨달았어요. 그래서 이제 아마 그런 점에서 좀 높이 올라간 거는 국제 활동에서 좀 중요한 일들을 했기 때문에
네.
그런 부분을 제가 표현한 것입니다.
Okay, so she did say that she's worked her entire life, nonstop. For 20 years, she worked on her career and just worked nonstop. And that it's led to a lot of great opportunities, even working as professors, as an architect, in consultants, and all of these different jobs. Like you've become someone that is quite talented and works very hard in the field. But all these important jobs led to a lot of international work as well, work that can be seen on the global stage, including big stuff like, the work in Germany, overseas, APEC, all of these things are very, very big things. So that's why it led to such a big, I guess you could say, peak in your career, of course. Now, we do have an official question here on our show, and that is, it's gonna be hard or easy to answer, we don't know. But to 조인숙 대표님, that is you, what is architecture to you?
정말 중요한 걸 물어보셨네요.
It's not easy to answer, I think.
뭐 제가 사실은 뭐 건축이 무엇이다라고 정의한 게 없지는 않습니다. 그러나 그런 현학적인 것보다는 사실 생각해 보면 건축이라는 게 제게는 그냥 삶의 일부입니다. 삶의 일부이고 그래서 대단한 의미를 두기보다는
네.
그러니까 제가 전공한 것을 그냥 직업으로 삼아서
네.
평생을 같은 일을 해왔다는 게 한편으로는 신기하기도 하고 또 한편으로는 자랑스럽기도 하고 한편으로는 감사한 그런 일입니다.
네.
그래서 건축이 뭐 많은 사람들이 건축은 뭐 동결된 음악이다 이런 말도 하고 했지만 그런 표현보다는 그냥 삶의 일부라고 하고 싶습니다.
삶의 일부.
제게는
Right, of course. So Insik did say that to her, what is architecture? And to her, it is the first part of life, definitely, because she spent so much of her life working as an architect. So that to her personally, that's what it is. Of course, she is proud and she does love all the work that she has done, but that it is that something that is, of course, to her personally, just considered the first part of her life. So, as an architect, is there anything going forward that you really want to accomplish, like a big goal, any big project, anything like that?
이제 저는 뭐 이제 뭐 활발하게 일할 나이는 아닌 것 같아요. 물론 제 마음은 안 그렇지만
네네.
사회적인 통념상. 근데 지금 제가 남은 일을 할 수 있는 게 있다면 그 이제 유네스코 세계유산에 좀 알리고 싶은 작업은 있습니다.
네네네.
지금 다른 데선 잘 모르고 있지만 그 신촌에 있는 봉원사라는 사찰에
예.
사하촌을 조금 소개를 하고 싶어요.
아.
전 세계에 하나밖에 안 남은
네.
그런 마을이기 때문에
Yes.
그래서 그 마을은 이제 스님들의 생활 공간으로 남아 있는데요. 이제 지금도 끊임없이 아파트를 지어서 줄 테니 땅을 내놔라 하는 유혹이 많습니다만 이 마을을 전수조사해서 유일한 그런 마을로 좀 알렸으면 하는 게 하나 바람입니다.
Okay.
예. 그리고
Yeah. Okay. So, of course, that working, as an architect, one of the most important things that she wants to leave, for the future of architecture is, of course, getting places that there's only one in the entire world to let UNESCO know, let the entire world know about all of this. And there's particular places that we are looking at the pictures here right now, such as Bongwonsa and Sahachon, as well as the monks' village, places where monks live. Very important places for the entire world to know. So, working with UNESCO, of course, is very important. I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Culture Crunch today. It was such a fun interview, and you're such an enlightened individual, and I really wish the best for APEC this year as well, and all of your hard work. So thank you for joining us. Now I will be sending off today's guest with a song. This is Until the End by Park Eun-bin, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
작은 가방 하나 메고 구름 따라 걷는 길 파란 하늘 덮고 녹아 춤추는 나무와 노래해 저기 위에 떠가는 구름이 굽비를 내려도 뭐 어때 상관없어 막 구부러진 길 또 오르막길 그 어디라도 걸어갈래 Till the end 그곳에 숨겨진 보물 따위는 없어도 돼 사실 그건 지금 내가 걷는 이 길에 뿌려져 있거든 하얀 마음들을 적어 종이배를 접어띄워 저곳 어딘가에다 그곳도 하얘지기를 저기 위에 떠가는 구름이 바람을 던져도 뭐 어때 상관없어 막 구부러진 길 또 오르막길 그 어디라도 걸어갈래 Till the end 그곳에 숨겨진 보물 따위는 없어도 돼 사실 그건 지금 내가 걷는 이 길에 뿌려져 있거든 풀잎 하나 들꽃마저 햇살을 담은 아름다운 거리 어두워